Hey everyone, this is Nakshan, and welcome to the Scatter Hoard, where we try to put complicated ideas in a nutshell. Have you ever tried to drive in a screw with a hammer? Or remove a splinter with bolt cutters? Well, I wouldn't recommend it because it's using the wrong tool for the job, and you'll end up either destroying the project, hurting yourself, or both. But the truth is, when all you have is a hammer, the whole world looks like a nail. But this is exactly what happens when fans of a particular paradigm become enamored with its beauty and want to apply it to every situation, even ones it's not designed for. For example, religion can confidently tell you that the universe is 5,783 years old and that flies are spontaneously produced from rotting meat, even though experimental science can demonstrate, repeatedly, that both claims are absurd. But scientists, don't get too smug because you have nothing to say about the why of anything. For instance, science can explain how a trait like altruism may serve or not serve the law of natural selection, but as to why there's life at all involved in such a process? But that's a stupid question, they'll object. There's no way to even investigate it. Well, maybe you don't have a way. Modern science has performed miracles for over 500 years. It has harnessed the power of heat to drive machines, discovered the laws of gravity and motion, devised the periodic table of elements, applied electricity, designed precise navigational tools and methods, discovered the general theory of relativity, developed antibiotics, invented computers, created the internet, improved public health, reached beyond the solar system, and the list goes on and on. There's no debating the power of the scientific method, and yet there are legitimate lines of inquiry that lie outside its purview. Existential questions like, why was I born? What's consciousness? What happens after I die? Cannot be approached from the angle of science. And why should they? It's the wrong tool for the job. This type of inquiry requires a different kind of approach, but one that has a foundation every bit as solid as the falsifiable hypothesis method used by scientists. But where do we find this kind of bedrock in something so effing ineffable? Well, it must be rooted in something easily identified and supremely accessible, namely the direct personal experience, in which we will, sooner or later, encounter the unknowable. Not the unknown, but the unknowable. The unknown is the subject of scientists. The unknowable is a topic for another kind of investigator entirely, the mystic, who seeks liberation from narrow conventional ways of thinking, who seeks the mystical experience. And the path to this state always begins with humility. Lowering yourself before another human is subjugation, but lowering yourself before what will always be beyond your ken is just pragmatic acknowledgement of reality. You don't lose yourself when you move beyond the power of reason and step inside the experience of the infinite moment. Yourself still exists, but it has, sort of, stepped to the side so you can experience a wonder and joy that transcends limitations. The mystical experience lifts the spirit, instilling confidence that a meaningful foundation underlies all of creation. We may not be able to articulate what we've seen, but we sense it's real. Much more real, in fact, than the culturally constructed version we've been handed. The mystical experience shows that there is a reality beyond our comprehension, and that we can experience its befuddling presence. And any domain that is defined by the inability to understand it cannot be constrained by form and reason. This implies that we now have permission to contemplate all possibilities within this mysterious realm, even the most outlandish notions. What's between our ears and inside our hearts shares creation with something else that is way beyond the rules of physics. Some people call this presence God, others Tao or Brahman. I think it's fair to simply call it the unknowable, because that's a descriptive term rather than a speculative one. Some people experience it as a loving personality, others as an impersonal cosmic flow. As with so many things, what we see depends on who we are. Humility creates space for something bigger than ourselves to be experienced. Without the practice of ego nullification, what the Buddhists call anatta and what the Chassids call bittul, we can't even start to approach the unknowable. We must get out of our own way to arrive fully in the moment, to be in the zone. There are several ways to do this. We can lose ourselves in engrossing activities. Dance, song, cooking, sport, art, and the like allow for the full experience of the moment. We may not be able to completely explain how we felt while we were doing it, but that doesn't make the experience any less real. Meditation practices like deep breathing, mantra recitation, or immersion in nature can also make the ego transparent. And shamanic practices like the use of psychedelics are yet another way. Coming to terms with a mystical experience and applying its lessons to our lives, learning to embrace the incomprehensible rather than run from it, can fill the rest of our days. Adding a pinch of the unknowable as seasoning to all our investigations into the quantifiable, materialistic universe fills our lives with purpose and makes our everyday pursuits meaningful, leading to a more mentally and emotionally healthy human. I'll see you next time.